Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Never thought I would be saying that at 52, but here I am. Welcome to Eonian. If this is your first time hearing about us, and it probably is because I'm very new to YouTube, I'm Danielle, and after 25 years in corporate, I worked across pharma and chemicals and technology. I started Eonian based on my own skincare challenges that began in my early 40s. I'm 52 now, and a lot of my research was focused on maturing skin, both in men and women, and how that changes across the decades. So, and part of this research of speaking to men was to find out that, and that's why today we're going to dive into the essentials of getting a smooth shave without the irritation. I was shocked that, I met men in their 50s and their 60s, and after I started diving into these tips, they're like, no one ever told me to do that, or no one mentioned that to me. And the fact is, at least according to the American Academy of Dermatology, over 78% of men have shave irritation after shaving. And people go, yeah, that's just the way that it is. I was a little mystified. So about 8 years ago, when I started diving into this and ingredients and everything, I called one of my friends and said, if we had irritated, red, bumpy faces, we would probably tear up every store, go down every rabbit hole looking for a solution. But a lot of the men were like, eh. And I'm talking men from their 20s all the way through to their 60s who really believed that irritation after shaving was just something that they had to deal with. And that's not true. So, and some of you may have underlying conditions, so I can't obviously comment on those. But basically, some of these tips that I'm going to give you tonight, and they're not groundbreaking or earth-shattering, but they've helped some people. So I wanted to share them. Oh, and besides razor burn, the shave bumps. So the medical term is pseudofolliculitis barbae. That when you have a bad case of that, it can be almost downright debilitating. And one of the gentlemen in our test group shared this with me. So Black men, over 60% of them, and I even found numbers as high as 90% of them, get these really deep bad razor bumps, which lead to, or they can lead to, scarring, hyperpigmentation, and infection. And I have a lot of men in my life, not that way. My husband, my sons, my dad, my brothers, my friends. And for something that I took for granted, they all knew, shaving, it didn't dawn on me to look into it, but for something so simple, and that so many men are experiencing these irritation and these bumps and these side effects, I've been looking for solutions for them, and I really couldn't find anything over the years, but we'll get into that later. So whether you are new to shaving, welcome, or you're just looking to upgrade your routine and maybe hear something that you haven't heard before or haven't tried before. So no matter your age, we're going to walk through some steps to help you get the best results from shaving. And with that, number one, time is of the essence. Please don't rush through your shave. Please don't rush your shave. Because what happens, and look, we are all dealing with time management problems, right? But don't rush it, because it is the number one reason that men end up with razor burn. And, I know time management is something that we all struggle with. Spend just a few minutes to prep. Just wash your face with warm water and a gentle cleanser. By gentle, I'd be happier if you just use warm water instead of, please don't use, if you have an acne wash with salicylic acid or benzoyl peroxide, anything that has glycolic in it, just look for anything with an acid or any of those ingredients in there, because when you're getting ready to shave, your skin is already conditioned with its own oils and the hair's a little softer, right? So if you go in with a heavy duty scrub, you're just taking away anything that would have acted, right, as a softening agent, and you have natural hair softening oil probably already in there, especially if you just woke up. So look for clean, gentle cleansers. You can find them in drugstores, Amazon, basically anywhere you shop, guys. Just make sure they have clean ingredients and none of the ingredients that I just mentioned. So now you've rinsed your face. Next, we're going to lather up with a product. You have choices of shave cream, shave gel, and shave oil. And what are the benefits to each? So shave creams, I think, are probably, they're a classic, right? They provide a rich lather. They create a nice protective barrier between your skin and the blade. Gels are also excellent, and they're especially good gels for sensitive skin. And if you've never used a shave oil, I don't remember them having a lot of shave oil for women, but I'm seeing more and more of those advertised for us for our legs. But my husband tried a shave oil, and it was so good, right? Especially if you are maturing or you have dry skin, because the blade just kind of glides across with no resistance, which is good. So you've chosen your product. You've either foamed up or lathered up or oiled up. Now I'm going to ask for 2 minutes of your time in the morning to just let it sit. Just let it sit on your face. Don't put one side on and just start shaving right away. Check your fantasy team, your score, scroll through social. Just give it 2 minutes, because this small step will soften the hair even more when I was talking about those natural oils. So it will help to make even a one-pass shave possible and comfortable. Fingers are great, but brushes are even better. And women know this from all the years of putting on cosmetics. If you get and men are on the fence about this when I talk to them, but it absolutely does make a difference, because think about it. A shaved brush is like when you brush your hair, you're really getting in there. It's going to get under and coat that hair really, really well. It's going to lift it and kind of work it in. When you're using your fingers, I've watched my husband shave, right? They just kind of lay it on and then go. So what you've done now is you haven't worked it in. You've just created a layer over the hair instead of lifting and moving it around. So, and I could do a separate video on shave brushes, because I had no idea, right? I ended up taking like the Matrix Red Pill, because there's boar, badger, horsehair, synthetic, and they can be shaped as a fan. They can be flat. They can be in bulb or hybrid shape. Okay, moving on. What is the deal with all these blades? The blades, 3 blades, 4 blades, and we go through this as women too, guys. Sensitivity strips, pivoting heads, disposable, the really expensive, cool investments that you make, right? So there are so many choices and so much information out there, right? Okay, I'm a marketer, I get it. So everyone wants you to buy their product. But according to dermatologists, that's where I always go back to, is go to the experts, right? A single blade razor is generally considered the most preferred type of shaving blade. But then even single blade razors have variations. There are safety razors that have a protective guard to prevent cuts and nicks. And if you're like me and you grew up in the, late 70s, early 80s, My grandfather had one. So you'd screw the little top, drop the new razor in flat, screw it back, right? So safety razors have a protective guard that's supposed to prevent against cuts and nicks. A single edge razor looks like those disposable. So they almost look like those cartridge blades, but they just have a single edge running along them, right? And I think those are more commonly seen, but I've heard that safety razors in this next generation are making a comeback, which is good. And then there are straight razors. I think those are left to the professional barbers. I think that's best for them. But I have met a few brave men who prefer to shave with a straight razor. Again, everybody's different. If that's your jam, you go for it. They intimidate me and scare me. And also, yeah, it's kind of a horror movie thing. Anyway, a double blade, good middle ground. If you really don't want a single blade, you don't want to mess with a safety razor, fine. You can do a double blade, good middle ground. Gives you a little bit of a closer shave than that single safety blade, but still being relatively gentle on the skin. It's when we get to the multi-blade razors, 3+ blades, right? They have 3, 4, and I think there was even a 5 razor that came out, or a 5-blade razor that came out. Those are more suitable, right, for thicker hair types. But now we go back to the problem we talked about shave bumps. The thicker your hair, the more that this multi-blade is going maybe prone to give you more irritation as it passes over the skin. And they've also been shown to make ingrown hairs worse because the extra blades. So you have blade 1. I even remember, gosh, a long time ago, they had the little animation that showed you. It lifts the hair to give it a closer shave, but the other blade that's dragging behind it can push the debris and the stub of that hair back under your skin. So, and I know some of you are watching this and you're like, listen, I've used a multi-blade razor my whole life and I've never had a problem. They work fabulous, and that's great. But that's why I'm making this video, because everyone is different. So some people probably got excited and said, ooh, the single blade safety razor is coming back. But you know, whichever one that you choose, the most important thing is to always have a sharp blade. Dull blades are so much more irritating. And I know most of the people watching this are shaking their head. Yes, you know this. So check for rust, no nicks in the blade. And I know you're probably going to laugh at me and say, who shaves with that? But have you ever left for vacation and realized that your travel razor has been laying in the middle or the bottom of your dot kit? Anyway, there was even a study that I did want to mention in the Journal of Skin Research Technology this past January. And they were measuring the effect of razor design on shaving-induced irritation, or erythema. If you're going to look up the study, that's the medical term for razor burn. So burning, redness, itching, and stinging. And to sum this up, the results demonstrated that a single blade safety razor created significantly less erythema than a multi-blade cartridge razor. It's one study, but I thought I would mention it because a lot of the sources that I looked at said you might want to check that out. So we'll see if they're making a comeback or not. So hot, moist skin, keep it clean, people. Hot, moist skin is the key to a good shave. Shaving in the shower, I mentioned this earlier, is a great way to shave, right? There's also shave gel or cream warmers. Unfortunately, we tried a couple brands and they clogged really easy. But it was so nice, right? If you've ever had one of those heated lotion dispensers, so nice, especially in the winter. And at the end of that, so you've now cleaned up, you've rinsed your face, follow that with a splash of really cold water. Why? It helps constrict your open pores. It's going to minimize irritation, and it can even help lessen some of that bleeding from any cuts or nicks that you have. Technique, right? It's all in the wrist. Let's talk a little bit about technique. So using all the tips that we just spoke about above, you're already prepped, your skin is nice and warm, and you've used your brush to work the product in. Take your razor and shave in very short, light strokes in the direction of your hair growth. This is really important, especially for those of you that might be starting out and found this video. Shave with the grain, because if you're going against the grain, it's a surefire way to end up with ingrown hairs. And that's in any body part. But don't forget to rinse your blade between. So you shave down, rinse, because all that buildup is going to cover your razor eventually, and that's going to start tugging on your skin, and that's going to increase your irritation. We've made it to aftercare. So I don't care what age you are, slapping alcohol on your skin, it just never made sense to me when I was a kid, because my grandfather would be like, oh, and I'm like, why are you tormenting yourself? But anyway, you just took off the top layer of skin, right? And now you're going to splash alcohol on it. And I understand it's removing the top layer of dead skin, but what's underneath are those new skin cells, and they're really sensitive. So there's no need for you to, if you love it, that's fine. But as you mature, you should know you do not want to be splashing alcohol on that nice new skin, right? And I understand some of you are going to get really, really worried about putting any kind of lotion on, especially if you have ingrown hairs. So stay with me though. Aftershave comes in a lot of different forms, right? I just mentioned the liquid, and most of those are alcohol based. And they're also called splashes. There's lotions, gels, and balms. All of those three tend to be gentler on your skin. Again, look at the ingredients. Look at what's in there. There are a lot of natural shave balms. And of course you knew, look, I waited this long that I was going to give a shameless plug for our Sovereign Skin Balm. Again, I was personally involved in the formulation, and the men in my life all use it and love it. Why don't we recap, right? I don't want you walking around with red, dry, bumpy skin anymore. So let's choose the right solution for you. Again, this isn't sponsored by anyone, not even me. I'm not pushing my products. I don't make blades or other products, just the aftershave balm. So choose the right blade for you. If you've never used a single blade safety razor, try it. What have you got to lose, right? You never know what's going to work. The right product. If you've never used a gel or an oil, or you've never used a brush to apply it, or your cream, try it. I mean, what's to lose? So technique, we went over that. So make sure that you are going with the grain instead of against the grain. And also the aftercare. I won't mention the products again, but choose one. Try a balm. There's, very little that you can, that could go wrong. So, thank you so much for spending some time with us. As you know, I mentioned earlier, I'm very new to this, so I appreciate your time and listening to me fumble through. This is the first full video that I've ever recorded for YouTube, so thank you. Like, subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Also in the comments, if you have any personal tips and tricks or anything that I missed, I'd really, really appreciate you letting me know down in the comments section. And again, hope to see you back here again. And that's it.